What would you do if your own family left you for dead in a burning wasteland just for refusing to obey? Left to the vultures with nothing but fading breath and broken pride, she thought it was the end. Until a human showed up with a plasma rifle, a bad attitude, and the audacity to care. This is the story of an exile, a drifter, and the choice that changed a galaxy. The twin suns of Kepler 442b cast long shadows across the wasteland. Nothing moves here. Nothing lives here. Nothing should survive here. But something does. She lies half buried in the scorched dirt, her pale blue skin cracked like dried riverbed. Blood seeps from wounds that should have killed her hours ago. Her breathing is shallow, desperate. Each breath might be her last. Above her, carrion birds circle in lazy spirals. They know. They can smell death approaching. One of them dives from it explodes in midair. The crack of a plasma rifle echoes across the empty landscape. A figure emerges from the heat, shimmer weapon lowered. Human, male, weathered face, steel gray eyes, and the kind of walk that says he's seen too much and lived to tell about it. His name is Reese Hawthorne, former Earth Navy, current nobody. Behind him, a battered maintenance drone hovers at shoulder height, its optical sensors glowing amber. The thing's seen better decades. Well, the drone mutters in a distinctly sarcastic tone. Look what the cosmic wind blew in. Another dramatic alien having an existential crisis in the dirt. Shut it, Milo, Reese says, kneeling beside the dying alien. She's Cesari. He can tell by the elegant bone structure, the silver hair that catches light. Like spun metal, the way her body seems too graceful, even broken and bleeding. Her people are known throughout the galaxy for two things, their beauty and their arrogance. Right now, she looks like neither. Reese pulls out a water canteen. The liquid sloshes inside, probably worth more than most people see in a month out here in the Rim territories. Hey, he says softly, lifting her head. You with me? Her eyes flutter open. Purple, deep as nebula. For a moment, they're unfocused. Then they lock onto his face and something shifts. Recognition. Not of him specifically, but of what he is. Human. She turns her head away. Let me die with dignity, she whispers, her voice like broken glass. Dignity's overrated, Milo chimes in. Survival, on the other hand, that's where the real party is. Reese ignores the drone and presses the canteen to her lips. Drink. I said no, and I said drink. We can do this the easy way, or the way where I pour it down your throat. Your choice, my eyes. For a moment, she stares at him. There's something in those purple eyes. Pride, maybe? Or stubbornness? Probably both. Then her body betrays her. Her lips part slightly, accepting the water. She drinks, reluctantly, like it's poison instead of the first mercy she's tasted in who knows how long. There we go, Reese says. See, not so hard. Why? The word comes out barely above a whisper. Why what? Why save me? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Reese shrugs, helping her sit up. She's heavier than she looks, solid muscle beneath the delicate exterior. Seemed like the right thing to do. Milo's optical array rotates with an audible whir. Translation, he's got a hero complex, the size of a battle cruiser, and the common sense of a caffeinated squirrel. I can still turn you into scrap metal, Milo. You've been threatening that for 3 years, boss. Still waiting. The alien watches this exchange with something approaching confusion, like she's trying to solve a puzzle that keeps changing shape. What are you? She asks. Human, Reese says, as if that explains everything. Ding. I know that. I mean, what are you doing out here? This system is quarantined. Nothing lives here except radiation and regret. And apparently dramatic aliens, Milo adds helpfully. Reese shoots the drone a look that could melt hull plating. We were passing through, heard your distress beacon. I didn't send a distress beacon. No, but your ship did, right before it became a very expensive crater about 2 clicks east. She closes her eyes. When she opens them again, something's changed. The pride is still there, but underneath it now there's something else. Something that looks almost like relief. They left me here, Damo. Yeah, I figured that part out. Question is, who's they? She's quiet for a long moment. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of ozone and burned metal. In the distance, the wreckage of her ship still smolders. "My family," she says finally. Reese's jaw tightens. "Your family did this to you?" "I was inconvenient." Inconvenient. The word comes out flat, dangerous. "Right. Well, congratulations. You just graduated from inconvenient to rescued. Think you can walk?" She tries to stand and immediately staggers. Reese catches her arm, steadying her. For a moment, they're close enough that he can see the flecks of silver in her purple eyes, close enough to notice that despite everything, she smells like starflowers. "I can manage," she says, but doesn't pull away. "Sure you can." Milo prepped the med bay. "Already on it, boss, though I should mention our medical supplies consist of duct tape, questionable painkillers, and whatever that green stuff is you keep in the emergency kit." "That's disinfectant." "Are you sure? Because it smells like industrial solvent mixed with regret." The alien almost smiles. "Almost. Are you two always like this?" "Unfortunately," Reese says, slipping an arm around her waist to support her weight. "Milo's got a mouth like a broken waste recycler and twice the attitude." "I resent that comparison," Milo protests. "Waste recyclers serve a valuable function. I'm purely decorative chaos." This time she does smile. Just a little. Just enough to transform her face from beautiful to something approaching radiant. "What's your name?" Reese asks as they start walking toward a ship. The smile fades. "It doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me." She looks at him sideways, studying his face like she's trying to read text in a language she doesn't quite understand. "Lyralei," she says finally. "My name is Lyralei." Lyralei. He tests the name and somehow it sounds different in his voice. Warmer. "I'm Reese," and the floating annoyance is Milo. "Charmed, I'm sure," Milo says. "Though I should warn you, Lyralei, this particular human has a tendency to collect strays. Last month it was a half-dead smuggler. Month before that, a family of refugee miners. You're in excellent company." "I'm not a stray," Lyralei says quietly. "No." Reese agrees, and there's something in his voice that makes her look at him again. "You're not." Reese's ship isn't much to look at. The Wanderer is a Corellian freighter that's seen better decades, possibly better centuries. Hull patches cover hull patches. The paint job is more rust than paint. But she flies, and in the outer trim, that's all that matters. Lyralei stares at it with barely concealed horror. "This is your ship. Don't let her appearance fool you," Milo says, floating ahead of them toward the loading ramp. She's held together by prayer, profanity, and a concerning amount of industrial adhesive. "That's not helping, Milo. I'm just being honest about our relationship with physics. It's complicated." The loading ramp groans as it lowers, revealing an interior that's somehow both cramped and cluttered. Crates line the walls, secured with enough magnetic clamps to suggest Reese has trust issues with artificial gravity. The air smells like recycled oxygen engine coolant, and something that might charitably be called coffee. Lyralei takes 3 steps inside and collapses. Reese catches her before she hits the deck, sweeping her up in his arms. She's lighter than she should be, like her people are built from hollow bones and stubborn pride. "Medbay," he says. "What medbay?" Milo replies. "You mean the supply closet with delusions of grandeur? The supply closet with the balled-out cot and the working scanner." "Oh, that medbay, right this way to our state-of-the-art medical facility population. Whatever bacteria we haven't managed to kill yet." The so-called medbay is exactly what Milo described. A closet with a cot and a medical scanner that looks like it was built during the Clone Wars and maintained by someone with a questionable relationship with manufacturer specifications. Reese sets Lyralei down gently and she immediately tries to sit up. "Stay down," he says. "I'm fine." "You passed out walking up a ramp." "That's not fine, that's barely functional." She glares at him with those purple eyes but lies back down. Partly because he's right, mostly because she doesn't have the strength to argue. The scanner hums to life, casting pale blue light over her body. Reese studies the readouts with the kind of focus that suggests he's had to play medic before. Dehydration, malnutrition, 3 cracked ribs, and... He pauses, frowning at the display. "What's this? What's what?" "You have got some kind of implant, neural interface, high-end stuff." Lyralei's face goes very still. "It's nothing." Nothing doesn't show up on medical scanners with warning labels. It's Cesare technology. You wouldn't understand. Try me. For a moment, she doesn't answer. The scanner continues its quiet humming, and somewhere in the ship's depths, the engines cycle through their startup sequence. It's a genealogy tracker, she says finally. Every noble-born Sesrai has one. It monitors bloodline purity, genetic markers, political allegiances, everything that makes you valuable or inconvenient. Yes, Reese reaches for something on the medical cart, a small device that looks suspiciously like a surgical laser. What are you doing, getting rid of it? You can't. The words come out sharp, panicked. It's integrated with my nervous system. Remove it wrong and you'll kill me. Then I'll remove it right. You're not a surgeon. No, but I've done field surgery before, and Milo's got access to the Galactic Medical Database. I do indeed, Milo confirms. Downloaded the whole thing last year during a very boring layover on Ryloth. Turns out Cesare neural implants are designed to be removable. Who knew? The procedure has a 40% fatality rate, Lyralei says, only if you're doing it in a field hospital with questionable sanitation. Milo replies cheerfully, our questionable sanitation is much more advanced. That's not reassuring. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be accurate. Reese sets the laser down and looks at her, really looks at her. Your choice. Keep the thing that lets your family track you anywhere in the galaxy or take a chance on a scruffy freighter, captain with steady hands, and a smart-mouthed drone. Those are terrible options. Welcome to the Outer Rim. We specialize in terrible options and questionable life choices. Lyralei is quiet for a long time. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the ship's hull. The twin suns are setting, painting the sky in shades of orange, sun, and red. If I die, she says finally, promise me you'll space my body. Don't let them take me back. You're not going to die. Promise me. Reese meets her eyes. I promise, Ek. She nods and lies back, closing her eyes. Do it, The procedure takes 2 hours. Reese's hands are steady, guided by Milo's constant stream of medical data and sarcastic commentary. The implant comes out clean, a small silver device, no bigger than a thumbnail. Got it, Reese says, holding up the thing that's been controlling Lyralei's life since birth. She looks at it with something approaching wonder. It's so small. Most chains are. Milo's optical array focuses on the device. Should I destroy it? No, Lyralei says. Keep it. Someday I might want to send a message. Reese pockets the implant and starts cleaning the surgical site. His touch is gentle, professional, nothing like the rough soldier she expected. Where did you learn to do this, she asks. Navy medic training. Had to patch up my squad more times than I care to count. What happened to your squad? His hands still for just a moment. Same thing that happens to most squads in the Navy. Politicians decided we were inconvenient. She understands. Of course she understands. I'm sorry. Not your fault. Politics is its own kind of war, and civilians are always the casualties. When he's finished, Lyralei sits up slowly, testing her range of motion. For the first time in years, there's no weight in the back of her skull, no constant whisper of monitoring and control. How do you feel, Reese asks. Free. The word comes out like a prayer. Good. Now you need food and rest. Real food, not whatever they were feeding you. I can't pay you. Did I ask for payment? Everyone asks for payment. Then you've been dealing with the wrong people. Milo rotates his optical array. To be fair, we do occasionally accept payment. Last week, Reese took a case of Corellian whiskey in exchange for fixing a hyperdrive. The week before that, it was a crate of authentic Earth chocolate. That chocolate was for emergencies, Reese protests. This is an emergency. We're dangerously low on chocolate. Lyralei watches this exchange with growing amazement. They bicker like an old married couple, but underneath it, there's genuine affection. When was the last time anyone showed her affection without expecting something in return? She can't remember. Why are you doing this? She asks quietly. Reese looks at her, and for a moment his expression is completely serious. Because someone should have done it a long time ago. Something breaks inside her chest. Not breaks like breaking apart. Breaks like ice breaking in spring, letting something frozen finally flow free. She doesn't cry. Cesare don't cry, at least not where anyone can see. But her eyes shine a little brighter, and when Reese helps her to her feet, she doesn't immediately pull away. "Come on," he says, "let's get some food in you." Milo set course for the Kepler station. "We need supplies." "Aye, aye, Captain." Chorus laid in for civilization such as it is. As they leave the medical bay, Lyralei catches a glimpse of herself in the polished metal wall. She looks different, not just because of the missing implant, but because of something in her expression. Something that might be hope. For the first time in her life, she doesn't know what comes next, and somehow that feels like victory. 3 days out from Kepler 442b, and Lyralei is learning that humans are insane, not dangerous insane, not violent insane, just fundamentally incomprehensibly insane in ways that make her question everything she thought she knew about the galaxy. Take breakfast, for instance. "What is this?" she asks, staring at the bowl Reese just placed in front of her. "Oatmeal with synthetic fruit. It looks like paste. Nutritious paste. Why would anyone voluntarily eat paste?" Milo hovers nearby, his optical sensors focused on her expression. "Oh, this is just the beginning. Wait until he breaks out the chili." "What's chili?" "Pain in food form," Milo explains cheerfully. "Humans are the only species in the galaxy that actively seeks out food that hurts them. It's like they've turned masochism into a culinary art." Lyralei takes a careful spoonful of the oatmeal. It's not terrible, which somehow makes it worse. "On Caesarea, we eat crystallized nutrients. Perfectly balanced, aesthetically pleasing, optimized for health and longevity." "Sounds boring," Reese says, settling into the seat across from her with his own bowl. "It's efficient." "So is breathing through tubes, but I prefer using my nose." She stops mid-chew. "That's not even a valid comparison." "Sure it is. Both involve giving up something essentially human for the sake of efficiency." "I'm not human." "No, but you're still alive, and living things should enjoy being alive, not just optimize for it." Milo's optical array rotates. Philosophical breakfast conversations, my favorite. Next, he'll start explaining why humans put music in their food. Like in food, spices, Reese clarifies. Flavor, the thing that makes eating an experience instead of just fuel consumption. But why, if the nutrients are the same, why complicate it? Reese leans back in his chair, studying her with those steel gray eyes. "Why do Caesarea buildings have those spiraling towers, the ones that serve no structural purpose?" "They're beautiful." "Exactly. Beauty serves no evolutionary purpose. It doesn't help you survive or reproduce or conquer enemies. But without it, what's the point of surviving?" Lyralei considers this while finishing her oatmeal. It's a strange concept, choosing inefficiency for the sake of experience. On Caesarea, such thinking would be classified as a cognitive defect. But the oatmeal, simple as it is, tastes better than anything she's eaten in years. After breakfast, Reese shows her around the ship. The Wanderer is a maze of corridors, jury-rigged systems, and spaces that definitely weren't in the original blueprints. Everything is patched, modified, or rebuilt with whatever materials were available at the time. "This is the engine room," Reese says, leading her into a space that hums with barely contained energy. Lyralei stares at the hyperdrive assembly. It's a nightmare of mismatched components held together with welding that looks like it was done in zero gravity during an earthquake. "This shouldn't work," she says, "but it does." "No, I mean it literally shouldn't work. These components are from different manufacturers, different generations of technology. The power coupling alone should have exploded the first time you engaged the hyperdrive." "Should have," Milo agrees. "Didn't though. We call it the miracle of enlightened stubbornness. That's not how engineering works." "It's how human engineering works," Reese says, running his hand along a particularly questionable weld. "We don't build things the way they're supposed to be built. We build them the way they need to work." "What's the difference?" "The difference is that when regulations say something can't be done, we find a way to do it anyway." Lyralei moves closer to examine the hyperdrive. Despite its appearance, the modifications are actually brilliant. Crude, yes, but brilliant. Someone took 3 incompatible systems and created interfaces that shouldn't exist using principles that aren't in any engineering textbook. "Who did this work?" "I did." She looks at him with new eyes. "You're not just a soldier." "Former soldier, current smuggler, occasional mechanic, and full-time pain in the Empire's backside. The Empire considers you a criminal. The Empire considers anyone who won't bow and scrape to be a criminal. That's most of the human colonies these days. But you fought for them. I've fought for the idea of them. Turns out the idea and the reality don't have much in common. There's pain in his voice, old and carefully controlled. Lyralei recognizes it because she carries the same kind of pain. The kind that comes from believing in something beautiful only to discover it was always a lie. Show me how it works, she says. What? The hyperdrive. Show me how you made it work. For the next 2 hours, Reese walks her through the modifications. She asks questions, good questions, and suggests improvements that are actually feasible. Somewhere in the middle of explaining power distribution, he realizes she's not just intelligent. She's brilliant. Where did you learn engineering? He asks. Caesari nobility are required to study all sciences. We're expected to be perfect in all things. Expected by who? Everyone. Family society, the Council of Bloodlines. Perfection is the price of nobility. And if you're not perfect, she doesn't answer, but her hand unconsciously moves to the spot where the implant used to be. Right, Reese says quietly. Well, for what it's worth, your suggestions just improved my engine efficiency by 12%. It's still an abomination against proper engineering. The best kind of abomination. That afternoon, Reese makes lunch. Real lunch, not ration packs or nutrient paste. The galley fills with the smells that make Lyralei's mouth water despite herself. What are you making? Grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. That sounds complicated. It's about as simple as cooking gets. Caesari don't cook. We have food fabricators that create perfectly balanced meals based on individual nutritional requirements. Sounds efficient. You're mocking me. A little bit. Milo floats into the galley, his sensors analyzing the air. Careful, Lyralei. This is how he converts people to his chaos-based lifestyle. First the grilled cheese, then the music that serves no evolutionary purpose. Then before you know it, you're arguing with Imperial Customs officials about cargo manifests. Is that what happened to you, she asks. Oh, my conversion was much more dramatic. I was a standard navigation droid until Reese reprogrammed my personality matrix during a particularly boring hyperspace jump. Now I'm saddled with opinions, preferences, and an inexplicable fondness for ancient Earth comedy routines. You gave a droid a sense of humor. Seemed like a good idea at the time, Reese says, flipping the sandwiches. Turns out artificial intelligence plus comedy equals artificial sarcasm. I heard that. You were supposed to. When the food is ready, Lyralei takes her first bite and immediately understands why humans complicate their nutrition. The sandwich is warm, crispy, gooey, and somehow greater than the sum of its parts. The soup tastes like sunshine and comfort. This is, she starts, then stops searching for words. Good, dangerous. How is grilled cheese dangerous? Because I understand now why you choose inefficiency. If this is what you give up for optimization, then optimization is a trap. Reese grins. Welcome to the human condition. We've been choosing the beautiful mistake over the perfect solution for thousands of years. Is that why you saved me? Beautiful mistake. No, he says, and his voice is suddenly serious. I saved you because leaving you there would have been an ugly mistake, and I've made enough of those for one lifetime. That evening, as they sit in the ship's small observation lounge, watching hyperspace flow past like liquid starlight, Lyralei asks the question that's been bothering her all day. Don't you ever want things to be simple? Simple's overrated, Reese replies. Simple is what politicians promise when they want you to stop asking questions. But it would be easier. Easier maybe, better definitely not. She's quiet for a while watching the stars. My family always said that chaos was the enemy of order. That complexity was weakness. Your family was wrong about a lot of things. How do you know? Because they threw away something precious, thinking it was worthless. She looks at him then, and something passes between them. Not love, not yet, but the recognition that maybe, just maybe, they understand each other in ways that matter. Reese, yeah, tomorrow will you show me how to cook? Absolutely, fair warning though. We're starting with chili. I thought you said that was pain in food form. It is, but it's also delicious pain, and that's the most human thing there is. Milo's optical sensors flicker in what might be amusement. And so begins another conversion to the chaos-based lifestyle. Reese, you're like a missionary for beautiful mistakes. Could be worse, Reese says. Could be a missionary for perfect solutions. True, those people are insufferable. Outside the observation port, hyperspace swirls in patterns that follow no law except beauty. Inside the ship, three unlikely companions sit in comfortable silence, each learning that sometimes the best destinations are the ones you never plan to reach. The proximity alarm tears through the Wanderer like a banshee's scream. Lyralei bolts upright from the navigation console where she's been learning human star charts. 3 weeks of peace, 3 weeks of grilled cheese and terrible jokes, in the gradual understanding that maybe she's worth saving after all. 3 weeks and now it's over. Milo report. Reese's voice cuts through the alarm as he rushes onto the bridge. Long-range sensors are picking up a Cesari heavy cruiser dropping out of hyperspace. Distance 2 light minutes and closing fast. The blood drains from Lyralei's face. No, they can't have found me. The implant is gone. Maybe they tracked the implant's last known location, Milo suggests. Or maybe they're just really persistent. Reese slides into the pilot's seat, his hands already dancing over the controls. How long until they reach us? At current speed, 17 minutes. When can we jump to hyperspace? Not unless you want to arrive at our destination as a cloud of superheated particles. We're still inside the gravity well of Kepler 4442b. Lyralei stares at the tactical display, watching the red dot that represents her past bearing down on them like a predator. That's the Vindication. My cousin, Thane's command ship. Your cousin? The one who convinced the family I was inconvenient. Reese's jaw tightens. What's his problem with you? I wouldn't marry him. The words hang in the air like a confession. Reese's hands still on the controls for just a moment. He wanted to marry you, and when you said no, he had you exiled. It wasn't about marriage. It was about bloodline consolidation, political power. I was supposed to be grateful for the honor. And instead, I told him I'd rather mate with a Hutt. Milo's optical array swivels toward her. I like her more every day. The comm system crackles to life. A voice fills the bridge, cultured and cold, and absolutely certain of its own authority. Unknown vessel, you are harboring a wanted fugitive. Surrender the exile Lyralei of House Astronom Run immediately, and you will be permitted to leave unharmed. Reese reaches for the comm switch. Lyralei grabs his wrist. Don't! If you hand me over, they might let you go. This isn't your fight. He looks down at her hand on his wrist, then up at her face. Like hell it isn't. He activates the comm. Cesari vessel, this is Captain Reese Hawthorne of the Free Trader Wanderer. I don't have any fugitives aboard, wanted or otherwise. Just passengers traveling of their own free will. There's a pause. Then Thane's voice returns, and now there's amusement in it. Cruel amusement. Captain Hawthorne, how refreshingly naive. The creature you're protecting is genetically incapable of free will. She's property of House Astron's stolen property, and I'm here to reclaim what belongs to my family. Property, Reese's voice goes dangerously quiet. A broodmare, a vessel for superior genetics. Nothing more. Lyralei closes her eyes. She's heard those words before in council chambers and family meetings and the cold conversations that decided her fate. But hearing them now in front of Reese somehow makes them hurt worse. Well, Reese says into the comm, that's fascinating. Here's my counter-proposal. He reaches for the engine controls. No. The Wanderer's engines roar to life, pushing them toward the asteroid field that rings Kepler 442b's outer system. Behind them, the Vindication's weapon systems come online. Reese, what are you doing? Something stupid, he replies, throwing the ship into a banking turn that makes the artificial gravity hiccup. Milo, how's our structural integrity? Questionable at the best of times, downright philosophical right now. Good enough. The first plasma bolt sears past their starboard side close enough that the shields flare and the lights flicker. Lyralei grabs the nearest handheld as the ship shudders. You can't outrun a heavy cruiser in this ship. Not planning to outrun it, planning to outthink it. With what Milo's terrible jokes? Hey, Milo protests, my jokes are perfectly adequate for the situation. Another plasma bolt, this one closer. The shields are down to 60%. Reese, Lyralei says quietly, "You could still hand me over. Tell them I forced you to help me. They might believe it." "Would you believe it?" "No." "Then why would I do it?" "Because it's logical. Because it's safe. Because it's the smart thing to do." He banks the ship between two massive asteroids, using their bulk to break the Vindication's target lock. For a moment, they're hidden in the shadow of ancient rock. "Lyralei, in the 3 weeks I've known you, have I ever done the smart thing?" Despite everything, she almost smiles. "No." "Then why would I start now?" The Vindication appears around the edge of the asteroid, weapons charging. But Reese is already moving, diving deeper into the field, where the bigger ship can't follow without risking hull damage. "This is a sin," Lyralei breathes. "Welcome to the human condition," Milo says. "Population, everyone who's too stubborn to accept reality." They weave between asteroids like a needle through fabric. The Wanderer's smaller size is an advantage here, but every near miss with floating rock reminds them how thin the margin for error really is. "Shields at 30%, Milo reports. "Hull integrity holding, but I wouldn't recommend any sudden moves." Define sudden. "Faster than geological time." Reese spots what he's looking for, a gap between two asteroids barely wider than the Wanderer herself. "Hold on. That's not a gap," Lyralei protests. "That's a suggestion of a gap. It's big enough. For what, a message drone? For us, probably. Probably. But he's already committed, threading the needle with centimeters to spare." The Wanderer scrapes against rock metal, screaming against stone sparks flying past the viewport. They're through. Behind them, the Vindication tries to follow and immediately realizes the mistake. The heavy cruiser is 3 times the Wanderer's width. Thane pulls back, frustrated. "This won't work forever," Lyralei says. "Eventually, we'll run out of asteroids." "Eventually isn't now." The comm crackles again. Thane's voice has lost its cultured amusement. "Enough games, Captain. You're only delaying the inevitable. Surrender now and I'll make your death quick." "Counter offer," Reese replies. "Go back to Caesarea and tell your family that Lyralei isn't property. She's not coming back. And if you try to take her, you'll have to go through me. You're one ship against the might of House Astron." "Yeah, but I'm the ship with better reflexes." He proves his point by spinning the Wanderer through a gap that shouldn't exist, using the asteroid's rotation to slingshot them toward the edge of the field. "Reese," Lyralei says, and there's something in her voice he's never heard before. "Why are you doing this?" "Because someone should have done it a long time ago." "That's what you said before." "It's still true. But why you? Why risk everything for someone you barely know?" He's quiet for a moment, focused on navigating through a particularly dense cluster of rocks. When he speaks, his voice is softer. "Because I know what it's like to be thrown away by people who should have protected you. And because..." He pauses, searching for words. "Because in 3 weeks, you've become more real to me than most people I've known for years." Something breaks in Lyralei's chest. The same something that broke when he first offered her water, but deeper this time, more complete. "Reese." "Yeah, when we get out of this, I want to learn how to make chili." "Deal." They break free of the asteroid field just as the Wanderer's hyperdrive comes online. Stars stretch into lines and the Vindication falls behind into normal space. They're safe, for now. In the silence that follows as hyperspace swirls around them like liquid starlight, Lyralei makes a decision that will change everything. "Reese, I'm not going to run anymore." "What do you mean?" "I mean, they'll keep coming. Thane, my family, others like them. They'll keep coming until someone stops them." "Okay, so we stop them?" He looks at her, and in his steel gray eyes, she sees something that takes her breath away. Not pity, not obligation, but partnership. Equality, choice. He confirms. "It won't be easy. The best things never are. It might get you killed. Might get us both killed. And you're okay with that?" Reese grins, and for the first time since she's known him, he looks genuinely dangerous. "Lyralei, I haven't been okay with anything since the day I met you. But I've never been more alive." Outside the viewport, hyperspace flows like a river of light, carrying them toward an uncertain future and away from a past that no longer has any claim on either of them. The message reaches them 2 days later while Lyralei is teaching Reese the finer points of Caesari engineering. and discovering that human improvisation can improve even perfect designs. Incoming transmission, Milo announces. It's not from the Vindication. Who then, Reese asks, not looking up from the engine modifications they've been working on. According to the signal origin, it's from the Cesari homeworld world itself. High Council frequency. Lyralei's hand still on the plasma conduit she's been recalibrating. The High Council doesn't contact exiles. They're contacting this one. The message plays on the main screen. An elderly Cesari male, his silver hair elaborately braided in the style of the old nobility, his purple eyes cold as deep space. Lyralei of House Astron, I am Council Prime Varek. Your recent association with the human has created complications. Complications, Reese mutters. We embarrassed his nephew. That's not a complication, it's a public service. You have 48 hours to present yourself at Caesarea Prime for judgment. Refuse and we will classify your human companion as a hostile alien influence. The consequences for harboring such influence are severe. How severe, Lyralei asks quietly. Complete sterilization of his ship, his crew, and any world that offers him sanctuary. The message ends. The bridge falls silent except for the gentle hum of hyperspace engines. Well, Milo says finally, that escalated quickly. They're bluffing, Reese says, but his voice lacks conviction. No, Lyralei replies, staring at the blank screen. They're not. The High Council doesn't bluff. They don't negotiate. They don't compromise. When they make a statement, it becomes reality. So what do you want to do? She turns to look at him, and he sees something in her expression that wasn't there before. Not fear, not resignation, but a kind of fierce determination that makes her look dangerous. I want to go home. Lyralei, not to surrender, to fight. Reese studies her face. That's suicide. Maybe. Or maybe it's time someone reminded the High Council that there are things more important than genetic purity and political convenience. Things like what? Like choice, like freedom, like the right to decide who you want to become instead of accepting what others decide you should be. Milo's optical sensors focus on her. That's either very inspiring or completely insane. With humans around, I'm learning those are often the same thing. The plan they devise over the next day is typically human in its creative recklessness. Instead of sneaking onto Caesarea Prime or trying to fight their way through the orbital defenses, they're going to do something no one expects. They're going to surrender. Sort of. This is completely insane, Lyralei says for the fourth time as they drop out of hyperspace at the edge of the Caesarian system. You keep saying that like it's a bad thing, Reese replies, his hands steady on the controls. It is a bad thing. Insanity generally results in death. Human insanity generally results in impossible victories. Generally, well, about 60% of the time. What about the other 40%? Spectacular explosions. That's not reassuring. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be accurate. The Cesari fleet is waiting for them. 12 heavy cruisers arranged in a perfect sphere around severe Caesarea Prime weapons, powered but not yet aimed. It's a show of overwhelming force designed to make resistance seem futile. Incoming transmission, Milo reports. Council Prime Varek appears on screen, and this time he's not alone. Behind him stands Thane, looking smugly satisfied in what appears to be the entire High Council. Lyralei of House Astron, you have arrived to face judgment. Order your human to surrender his vessel and prepare for processing. Lyralei stands, and something in her posture has changed. She's not the broken exile they left to die on Kepler 442b. She's not the uncertain refugee learning to make grilled cheese. She's something new. Something that combines the best of both worlds. Council Prime Varek, I have not come to face judgment. I have come to offer it. Murmurs ripple through the council chamber visible on screen. This is not how exiles are supposed to behave. You forget yourself, exile. You have no authority here. I have the only authority that matters. The authority of someone who has seen what lies beyond your perfect little bubble of genetic superiority. She gestures to Reese, who steps up beside her. This human saved my life when my own family left me to die. He offered me food when I was starving, medical care when I was wounded, and friendship when I was alone. He asked for nothing in return except that I be myself. A corrupted self, Thane interjects from behind the Prime, polluted by alien influence. No, Lyralei says, and her voice carries across space with crystalline clarity. A free self, something you have never allowed any of us to be. She pulls out the neural implant, the one Reese removed weeks ago, and holds it up to the camera. This is what you use to control us, to monitor us, to make sure we never think a thought or feel an emotion that doesn't serve your vision of perfection. That device ensures genetic purity, the Prime says. That device ensures compliance. But I'm done complying. She crushes the implant in her hand. The shattered pieces fall to the floor like silver tears. You want to sterilize planets because one human showed kindness to one of your discarded daughters, fine. But first let me show you what that human taught me about fighting for what matters. She nods to Reese, who activates a device they've been working on for the past day. Every screen on every Sasari ship in the fleet suddenly displays the same image. Lyralei's face speaking directly to every Sasari citizen, every soldier, every person who has ever wondered if there might be something more than genetic perfection. My name is Lyralei of House Astron. 3 weeks ago, my family abandoned me on a dead world because I refused to be property. I should have died there. Instead, I was saved by a human who believes that every life has value not because of genetics or bloodline or political utility, but simply because it exists. The transmission is going out across the entire Sasari communications network. Milo has made sure of that. For centuries, we have been told that purity is strength, that control is safety, that choosing your own path is weakness. I have seen what lies beyond those lies, and I tell you now there is something better. On the council chamber screen, she can see the Prime's face growing darker with rage. There is freedom, there is choice, there is the right to love who you want to love, think what you want to think, and become who you were meant to be. And if anyone tries to take that from you, there are people in this galaxy who will stand beside you and fight. She looks directly at the camera. I am no longer Lyralei of House Astron. I am Lyralei of the Wanderer, citizen of no world and every world, and I choose to be free. The transmission ends. For a moment, the comm channels are silent. Then from the lead Sasari cruiser, a voice speaks. Not the Prime, not Thane, but someone else, someone younger. This is Commander Kira of the CNS Starborn. Council Prime, I formally request permission to stand down. Request denied, the Prime snaps. Then I formally revoke my commission. Another voice joins in. Commander Dex of the CNS Nightfall, I also revoke my commission. Then another, and another. Within minutes, half the Sasari fleet has declared independence from the High Council. Ships are breaking formation, moving away from the sphere of control. You see, Lyralei says softly into the comm, choice is contagious. The Prime's face is a mask of fury. Fire on the exile ship, full bombardment. But only 6 ships respond. The others have either shut down their weapons or turned them away from the Wanderer. Well, Reese says, watching the tactical display, I'd say your speech was effective. It was your speech too. You showed me what was possible. I just offered you grilled cheese. You offered me choice. Same thing, really. The 6 loyal ships open fire, but they're outnumbered now by their own former allies. The battle that follows is brief and decisive. When the smoke clears, the High Council's fleet is in full retreat. Council Prime Varric appears on screen one last time, his perfect composure finally cracked. This is not over, exile. No, Lyralei agrees. It's not, but it's not my fight anymore. It belongs to everyone who chooses freedom over fear. The transmission cuts out. In the weeks that follow, the Sasari rebellion spreads to dozens of worlds. The High Council's authority crumbles as people discover that they can choose their own leaders, their own laws, their own destinies. The Wanderer becomes a symbol, though Reese and Lyralei never intended it that way. They simply continue doing what they've always done, helping people who need help, standing up to bullies, and proving that sometimes the most powerful force in the galaxy is one person deciding to care about another. Lyralei never does learn to make chili. Every time Reese tries to teach her, they end up talking instead. About the future they're building together, about the worlds they've yet to explore, about the family they've created from nothing but stubborn hope and a mutual refusal to accept that things have to be the way they've always been. So what's next? She asked one evening as they watch hyperspace flow past the observation port. Whatever we choose, Reese replies, taking her hand, that's a terrible plan. It's a human plan. Same thing. Exactly. Outside their ship, the galaxy spins on vast and dangerous and full of possibilities. Inside, two people who should never have met continue the most human tradition of all, making up the future as they go along together. And somewhere in the depths of space on worlds both known and unknown, others are making the same choice. The choice to be free, the choice to be human regardless of what species they happen to be. The choice to believe that love is stronger than fear, hope is stronger than despair, and that sometimes saving one person can save an entire galaxy, one grilled cheese sandwich at a time. If you enjoyed this story of love rebellion and the power of choosing your own destiny, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Because in this universe, every voice matters, and every choice can change everything. Thanks for listening, and remember, the galaxy's a big place, but you're never alone if you're willing to fight for what matters.